We're back out of the timeout. Indiana leads at 19-14. Here in this third set, Emma Siegel sends it over. Dug out by Southeast Missouri. Arndt with the swing. Alonzo Corsells with a great dig. And a tie in the air. Krikovic the set. Jaeger with the kill. That was all Alonzo Corsells there. Somehow able to dig that hard spike from Lucy Arndt. And Indiana took it from there. They now lead at 20-14 in set number 3. Jaden Jaeger now with 18 on the match. She's got a shot for 20. Indiana 5 points away from winning the match. Siegel sends it over again. Barely dug out by Highfill. Schuberth with the set. Swing by Arndt, and she gets the kill. That was much needed for Southeast Missouri. They cut the lead to 5 here in this third set. And Lucy Arndt with her 7th kill that now leads the Redhawks in this match. Megan Holder, the setter, at the line for Southeast Missouri after a much-needed point. And she sends it over. Dug out by Jaeger. Krikovic with the set to Alonzo Corsells. Kept alive by Southeast Missouri. Arndt with the swing. Alonzo Corsells to dig. Krikovic set. Jaeger kill. Number 19 for Jaden Jaeger. She's been residing at that far side most of the game. That's where she's done all her damage. Indiana now leads at 21-15. Now Teodora Krikovic at the line for the Hoosiers. Sends it over, barely dug out by Southeast Missouri. Highfill with the set. Arndt dug out by Jackson. Jaeger gets the kill, number 20 on the match for Jaden Jaeger. Her first 20-kill game as an Indiana Hoosier. What a game it's been for the freshman from California. And Indiana now 3 points away from winning this match. Krikovic the set again. Dug out by Highfill. Holder the set. Alonzo Corsells to dig. Krikovic back set to Tatum. Deflected. Kept alive by Southeast Missouri. Schuberth. And that one does find the floor. A much needed point for the Redhawks. It's Lucy Arndt with the kill. Number 8 for the junior. She had 33 kills coming into the day. She's got 41 now. And she is at the line here for Southeast Missouri. Sends it over. Dug out by Alonzo Corsells. Krikovic the set. Here's Johnson with a swing. Blocked at the net by Ella Borsema. 23-16 Hoosiers in this third set. Well, I'll tell you, it's not that packed here tonight inside Wilkinson Hall, but it's loud. And a timeout called by Southeast Missouri. 23-16, the Hoosiers on the verge of improving to 3-0. We'll see if they can finish the job when we come back. Hello, Hoosier fans. It is a beautiful early autumn afternoon here in Bloomington, and it's time for this week's Hoosier Report, presented by the Hoosier Network. I'm Jack Rizzo, and let's dive right into it. Let's start with the gridiron. Indiana football is coming off their first of 2 bye weeks, as they had an extra week to prepare for their biggest game of the season up to this point. The 7th-ranked Hoosiers will travel to Eugene to face the 3rd-ranked Oregon Ducks for a top 10 matchup on Saturday. Indiana will get the much-needed return of cornerback D'Angelo Pons, who missed the Iowa game due to injury. Here is head coach Kurt Signetti on the matchup.
Great opponent, great team, a lot of great players, extremely well coached. Big, fast, athletic, physical, depth. Coach Lanning done a tremendous job.
The Hoosiers open up as 7.5-point underdogs to the Ducks. You can catch the game on CBS at 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. College Game Day will also be live from Eugene at 9 a.m. on ESPN. Moving over to volleyball, the Hoosiers are off to their best start in 40 years in conference play, with a 4-0 Big Ten record and a 12-1 overall record up to this point. Last weekend, Indiana traveled to Southern California and pulled off back-to-back upsets against number 17 USC on Friday and number 24 UCLA on Saturday. That was the first time in program history that IU won back-to-back games over ranked teams. The 20th ranked Hoosiers are in the top 25 for the first time since 2010. They will continue Big Ten play this weekend with a 2-game road trip in Michigan. as they will face the Wolverines Friday night before heading to East Lansing to face Michigan State on Sunday. Moving over to men's soccer, Indiana's early season struggles in Big Ten play continued, the latest being a 3-0 shutout against Washington in Seattle last Friday. The Hoosiers' recent slump has dropped them out of the top 10 rankings, this coming after being ranked number 1 in the country following the end of the opening non-conference slate. IU will look to get back on track as they return to Bill Armstrong Stadium Friday night to face Ohio State. That's all I've got for you. Make sure to follow the Hoosier Network across all social media platforms for the latest surrounding IU athletics. For the Hoosier Network, I'm Jack Rizzo. Assembly Hall, Jack Rizzo here with you for WIUX Sports. It's an undefeated matchup. 2-0 Marshall comes into Assembly Hall to face the 2-0 Indiana Hoosiers. Now, Indiana's strong start has been fostered by Shea Chesky, the reigning Big Ten Player of the Week, coming off a 35-point performance against UIC. And I've got 2 keys for Indiana today in the matchup. Number 1, defend the 3-point line. This Marshall team, they've taken 59 3-point shots in their first 2 games. That's going to be a real key for Indiana. They're going to have to be physical on the offensive and defensive glasses. Marshall, 17 offensive rebounds in each of their first 2 games. Now for this Marshall team, a big key for them is offensive consistency. They're shooting under 40% from the floor early on in the season. Got to be more consistent today against an Indiana team. They've got to keep that physicality going against a Big Ten team. And another big key for them is defending both Shea Chesky and Zanaya, because they both are big keys to this Indiana offense. Indiana, they can attack from the paint, they can attack from 3. Marshall, they need a full team effort if they want to take this one home. Tune into 99.1 WIUX, Dylan Beach, Ryan Lapidus on the call, or tune into Jack Rizzo, PXP on Twitter for updates throughout the game. Enjoy the game. 2-0 versus 2-0 here tonight inside Assembly Hall.
Trisha. I'm joined by Kara Heisterkamp following her season-low performance today. Kara, tremendous job today. I have to know, was there a change from the first 2 days where you didn't play as well as you did today that fostered a change in your performance today?
I think there was definitely change in my mental space. I have this tendency to start off poorly, and then I start playing a little bit better after that because you have some of the pressure taken off, which I am trying to alter that as I head into sophomore season. But yeah, just definitely, more of a sense of confidence, a sense that this pressure is off my shoulders, and that honestly, for a lot of people, the fact that it can't get any worse is very helpful to them. So heading into today, I was just like, my brother actually texted me after I shot 78 yesterday and 89 the first day. He was like, Kara, you are on pace for 66 tomorrow. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So yeah, I had a lot of people behind me, and I had a lot of people supporting me and not treating me any differently because of how I played. And that definitely sort of ushered me into today.
You mentioned your brother. Do you feel like your brother texting you put a little bit more pressure on you to go out there today and have the performance you did?
Oh, no, not at all. No, not at all. I love my brother. I remember during tournaments when I was younger, you're not allowed to do this, so don't tell anyone. This isn't public. But I would be texting him about, I'm not playing too well. I'd be playing in like AJGA events and be like, I'm not playing too well. And he caddies for me in bigger up events like the U.S. Women's Am or the Western Women's Am. And so I texted him and I was like, my driver's just not really good today. It's kicking out of the fairway. And we had this running joke that like all golf courses had secret gnomes and they were like kicking our ball out of the fairway. And so anytime I got a good bounce out of the trees, he would be like, you were being nice to the gnomes. They're treating you well. So no, anytime I can get a text from him, anytime he can support me, take that pressure off, I really appreciate it.
When you signed here with IU, one of the things that Coach May mentioned about you was your toughness and your competitiveness. What is it about that tough, competitive nature that drove you to have the performance you did today?
I mean, being competitive is just so essential out here, especially when you're grinding it out for 5 hours, sometimes 10 hours if we have 36 whole days. Keeping that momentum up. I mean, our coaches talk about this a lot. When you have that long of a day, you're going to have periods where it's like, okay, I'm fighting demons out here and I need to somehow get this together. And then you're going to have moments where just everything is a breeze. And so having that baseline competitiveness, having that foundation of competitiveness can just kind of sort of keep pushing you forward through any fluctuating period that you're in.
Kara, tremendous job today. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
Trisha.
Lou Anarumo is a great defensive coordinator. He was just stuck with an absolutely horrendous defense last year, and that's more the Bengals front office, which might be the worst front office in the league, if we're being honest here. I mean, we've talked about the Vikings a lot on this podcast so far for whatever reason, but I thought I was watching the Vikings defense yesterday because it kind of looked like the Brian Flores defense we saw last year with all the disguises that Lou Anarumo showed. He would put 7 guys
Good
up
cover
on the
zero
Miami
look.
O-line.
Yeah.
But sometimes he would only rush 3 or 4 of them. I mean, Peter and I were talking about this before, but there were several times in the game yesterday where the Colts would drop both defensive ends in coverage, and they would rush the 3 defensive tackles and 1 of their outside linebackers. I mean, Latu had an interception yesterday in coverage. It was a pretty athletic play, too, for a 6'5" defensive end who's not really known for his coverage skills. Yeah. But I will say, obviously all the newcomers had their moments, but I think the most impressive player on defense yesterday was Kenny Moore. You talk about him now having a great group of defensive backs surrounding him. I think this could easily be a career year for Kenny Moore. Had the strip sack yesterday on Tua early in the first quarter. Had a couple other nice pass breakups. He's going to be able to stick to what he does best now and just be in the slot. As long as the corner room stays healthy, which, we might talk about that in a second with some of the injuries the Colts have there. But it was an absolute masterclass yesterday from Lou Anarumo. And I do not know a time we saw Tua Tagovailoa look that lost in a game.